on how many people, okay, and do a whole background all on its own, everything about them people of you without going through the phone company. I mean, without people giving their information, but looking for it. You know, looking at looking at the how.
We kind of get the idea of all that, Robert.
Well,
Yeah.
my thing is,
Well,
why don't we just have, and I think we should start doing this, like different, like neighborhoods, like different neighbors, and you have like wireless LANs. Yeah, we should have our own internet, like FireWire.
Mhm.
You know?
Now,
well,
since we've had a decent amount of conversation here, let's open this up for Bob and get her take of it, because we haven't heard much from her. What's your take on all this, Bob?
It's very difficult for me to understand, and it's good to sit here and listen to you, talking seriously and not ranting and screaming and say the world is coming to an end.
Well,
Because I find that it's very difficult for me to have the conversation.
mhm.
Um, I think that the, the games that I play with my mind are not men games. You think about real stuff, I think about what could be and the dreams, right? I think that what Quantum MG is trying to do with building what he's trying to build is to address this exact issue. Your, it's your responsibility and your right as a human being to share whatever you want with your friends. But it's also your responsibility to not impinge on other people's privacy. And so to have this device, this software that he's creating, where you can choose your audience and curate your audience very carefully, is very interesting to me. We do it in families, we do it in schools, we do it in all sorts of ways in society. And it's kind of odd that the internet should have been just such a wild west for so long. I mean, I'm pleased it is, and I think that we've come a long way as a species by confronting each other, because, like, we're all so bizarrely different at the same time that we share so much. So yeah, I don't know really what I think, except that watching what Quantum MG is doing and testing the thing with him and watching how the AI is trying to solve the problems to generate sort of, it's just so multi-layered that
Mhm.
I feel that there's a lot of room for hope for the future of mankind.
I question the point of if AI. You're talking about large language models there, aren't you? In effect.
Yes, sadly I
Um,
am. Sadly I
um,
am.
Again, you got to be very careful about how
Yes,
what you call AI, because that is so
it's
broad and
a
so
lie. You're
misunderstood at
right.
the moment. What was my point? Sorry, I just totally lost my point. It's these things are not attempting to solve any problems. They're just, especially when it comes to large language models, they're just there to search databases, search sources, and give you an answer based upon those sources. It's people that are providing the sources, or companies that are providing the sources, that are attempting to quote solve unquote issues.
Yes.
So yeah, let's not give these large language or these AI models a sort of god complex.
Oh, absolutely not.
Because they're just there as especially when it comes to large language models, they're just an extension of search engines.
Well, they're a tool.
What I see them doing is empowering the little guy
Yeah,
to walk away from big corporations.
I see that too.
Yeah, as long as it actually works for that small
I
guy.
disagree with that point because you've got things like Grok that is owned by
Well, let me kind of expand on this, okay? Because okay, the stuff that me and Bob Dub and you and a lot of other people are doing together, okay? Now, when I go in and I do stuff on my computer, especially here recently, I couldn't have done that stuff if it wasn't for these tools, okay? Now, for me to do this stuff, I would have had to pay $200-300 to freaking these companies who would basically force me to have to pay that amount of money on a monthly basis, mind you, to do the same thing that I can do with LLMs or AI or whatever you want to call it, okay, for free. Now that helps me out as a small person who can't afford to go and get Adobe Prime or all of these sophisticated top of the market freaking brands, which I can't afford, but I have to use Blender, okay? Now with Blender, that's getting even worse now, because to use Blender you have to have a freaking more than average computer to do it, where at one time you didn't have to. So now I have to put freaking over $1,000-1,500 into a computer just so I can use Blender to make computer graphics. Okay, that's ridiculous. So now
Again, you're looking at this from a standard consumer sort of approach.
Exactly. That's the way it should be looked at.
Again,
That's exactly the way it should be
what's
looked at.
new from looking at new old stock? What stopping you from looking at refurbished stock to purchase your product?
Kick the computer experts in the balls and freaking say, you know what, we're tired of your shit. It's okay for freaking them to lay off all these freaking cool freaking computer specialists who freaking get really good money because they're holding freaking consumers hostage, of course, with their high prices.
It's down to the consumer to decide on their specifications of the machines, decide on what software they use. There are alternatives, like you said, there's Blender, there's when it comes to image creation,
I come across
GIMP.
If I've come across some stuff that it didn't hold up, and for the same price that they were wanting to sell for a high price, the cheap stuff does just as much or even faster than the high speed stuff from a big old company. That's the real sad part.
You are falling into that trap, Andy. A small story for you.
Yeah, but
when I was working in retail tech support, I used to have kids come up to me and ask me that they want to buy the biggest, greatest, amazing computer, and because it's fast. And then when I asked them what they were going to use the computer for, and realizing that they're only going to use the computer for about 10-20% of its processing power, but they still want to buy the latest and greatest computer because it's fast, but they are never going to use those resources.
Yeah.
It's like It's like, I don't know, buying a
boxes.
mansion and then only living in 2 rooms
Okay,
in the
you're,
mansion.
the best example for what you're talking about there is these Steam boxes. That's a perfect example. Like these kids are going out and they're getting high performance computer systems, which is termed Steam boxes, where you go in and you play freaking Steam games, and they want all of this power so that they can freaking just play a video game, and it's
Mm.
unnecessary. They don't need it, But when you turn around and you tell them that they should get a CPU that's freaking an Intel, because Intel, believe it or not, is a higher performing freaking piece of equipment. But you tell them that, they're like, oh, that's what old people get. Why
Yeah,
would
they
I?
rather have AMD because they think it's better.
It's just so cool. We need Ryzen. You know what I mean? We need that Ryzen GPU. No, you don't.
Okay, I need a machine with the most powerful CPU and the best GPU in it. 128 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes of hard drive, and all I'm going to do is a bit of word processing, bit of spreadsheet, use it, and looking at Facebook.
Give them more
Why?
than they deserve. They're doing video games, okay? Give them a...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm playing Minecraft.
Yeah, but I'm talking about,
I
like,
want a machine.
Like when you make when you make a movie and all that on your computer, and you've got a large video that you're editing, where the graphics you got good graphics on it and all that, but if your CPM's not up or however it works with all the stuff that you do have, put into your computer, if everything doesn't work.
As you can tell, he's not as much into that.
Are you? Not everybody's just a video editor. Not everybody wants
Well,
to be a
he
video.
knows what I do because me and him work together.
But
on
yeah,
this stuff, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So he's coming from that point of, and I understand where he's coming from, but
Yeah, I do.
we're talking about kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like kids are actually sucked into this idea that they need like a freaking they need like 64, 62 gigs of freaking RAM when they don't need that for a video game. But they have to have that cool freaking lighting and shit. You know what I'm saying? So
You know what? I'm gonna have to play devil's advocate here because when I get a system for gaming, yeah, I want the best specs. Because 2 years later, their game's coming out. And it's like, oh my god, I want to play this game. I want to play this game. You download it. It's like
There's
$80
sucking
game,
you
and it will barely
in,
play on your system.
Yeah, there's sucking
I've
you
even
in.
come across small, medium-sized companies, SMEs, saying they want the greatest and the most amazing workstations. They're willing to spend, I don't know, $500 or pounds per unit, and when you come to asking what they're going to use it for, they're going to use it for, I don't know, entering customer relationship, using a customer relationship management system, browser-based management system, or using it for word processing usage.
Yeah.
And if you think of a decent medium-sized company, let's say we've got just for argument's sake, you're looking at 500 users here, 500 users, 500 workstations. So 500 workstations at £500 a piece. You do the maths. When they could halve the expenditure, still have the same results.